So, I want to make pornography. Hear me out. Wait a second. Don't judge me yet. I don't want to star in any. I have made some homemade movies back in the day. Not because I wanted anyone to see what I was doing, but because I wanted to compare my current self to how I was getting down in my 20s and 30s. Sure, maybe nobody wants to see me doing my thing, but porn is all about angles. How else could you watch the same few positions over and over and over again and never get tired of it? Many of the stories are the same, and while everyone and their grandma is now showing something on the internet, you see a trend of viewers wanting to see extremes. They want to see the girl next door or the unattainable girl getting degraded. Yup. Remember back in the day, just finding a dirty magazine in the woods and just seeing someone naked? Like, that isn't enough now. These girls are getting their heads flushed in the toilets and taking baseball bats in the Hershey Highway just to get a click on their content. These companies complain it's because they're combating piracy. But there's so much porn that it would be too hard to police it. The market is oversaturated. All you need now is a dark room, a tripod, and an iPhone. Yeah, you Android guys, y'all Android guys and girls, y'all can use it too, but team iPhone. And someone they'll watch it regardless of what you're doing. Oftentimes, it's not because they want to, it's simply because they can normally do it when they wouldn't be able to. Whatever the new technology is, whenever it comes out, there is someone somewhere saying to themselves, you know what would be great with this? Some dry anal Asian porn. And, I've had buddies who delivered pizza and they're on their phone jerking off. So that's why I don't do deliveries for pizza anymore. Not trying to scare you or anything. Just don't go to Domino's anywhere in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Shout out to Fayetteville. Anyway, so yeah, man, porn is about angles. That's why I just want to direct it. The hardest part would be trying to record it. You know what I'm saying? That would be the hard part because the camera might be shaking because I'm not used to jerking. I'm used to jerking off while watching porn, and to be able to have a camera and not be able to do that, that would be a whole different thing. Like, I'm sitting there looking at the crew telling them I'm sorry because the camera's too heavy. They're looking back at me saying, bro, we see you with your junk out. These pornos are like over an hour long now. Really? Like, why do they need to be that long? I don't understand. Somebody help me out. And I get maybe it's because you want to get your money's worth if you're paying for this, subscription. But we don't need intros for the story. Like, don't get me wrong. I like a good story, but you can't have both. Either have a good story and some quick sex, or a quick story and some good sex. I don't have time to hear about two folks struggling to solve a calculus equation. Pull his junk out, put it in your mouth, please. I got 20 minutes before I have to get into this I-40 traffic, and I don't know exactly where to skip until I see your butt cheeks spread open. To be honest with you, that is really what I'm looking for. There's some guys that are into breasts more than booty and vice versa. When you are walking down the street lusting after these girls, is that what you're imagining? I mean, isn't it? It's all about the angles. Like, if geometry was sold to me this way in middle school, wherever it was, whatever grade I was in, I would have already been doing this. Okay? But look, angles is what you need to focus on everything in life, I think. What angle are you coming at this from? Maybe this is funny from a different angle, right? Like this next thing I'm about to say, you might feel like you need to look at it from the angle that I'm going with, right? So I picked up a prostitute. Yeah. Can you see her face? She's like, yeah, I can see that. I want to talk about the 4 E's. That's the economy, eating, exercise, and Equifax. So y'all are still on the prostitute thing, right? Like this girl over here is looking at me like she sees that I can pick up prostitutes. Like that's like I have that face. Like what's up with that? No, what it really is I have this look on my face that says you need this type of woman, and this type of woman is going to be attracted to you. And they're not always the same woman. Okay? For example, we're going to talk about something that happened to me. Anybody Uber in here? I don't mean you just got an Uber ride here. I mean, do you drive for Uber? If you are creepy, don't answer. Just those of you who are trying to make ends meet. So I was in an Uber in 2020, okay? It was a way to feel normal. Yes, picking up strangers and hoping they don't do anything strange to me felt normal in 2020. After meeting strangers for 2 years earlier playing Pokemon Go, this is where I found myself in life. So yeah, I picked up a prostitute. You thought I was just going to leave that out there? For those judging, I was an Uber driver. So in reality, she was a stripper. Stripper sounds so much better on a resume than a prostitute. So, Susan, it says here that you were a stripper. Like a paint stripper? What exactly did you do? Prostitute, on the other hand, nobody wants to know the details of what you did there. Or do they? Right? Sex worker, you could make $500 to $4,000. Prostitute, it's like, $100? Not knocking, $100 is still $100, but in today's economy, that ain't filling up the grocery cart anymore. Like prostitute is above crack whore, which is like $20. Don't ask me how I know the prices. I'm just the messenger. I'm just reporting the facts, okay? Anyway, it was late, around 10 p.m. at night, and I just played a whole bunch of Pokemon Go, and I said to myself, I drove strangers around in my car and spent money on gas and on the game, and I made no money. Maybe I should, go make some money. I turned on the Uber app and hardly anything was going on. I see these two folks standing and their cab driver left them. They asked me for a ride and I told them, nah. I don't do stranger danger, nah. But if they got the Uber app and picked me, I could give them a ride. So I parked beside them and they weren't in the nicest area of town, you know what I'm saying? And they asked me to turn my lights off. This is usually what folks ask you to do if you're in a project or drug area. Sorry to give out the secrets of the streets, but that's what it is. White people, if that's what's going on, pay attention. 15 minutes later, a young lady was in my car wanting to go to an ATM. She was cute, and I didn't realize she was supposed to sit in the back, because I was so overtaken by her looks. I was like, sweetie, you need to get it back. And she didn't realize it either because, maybe she was new to this Uber stuff. But the guy chose to stay behind, and rightfully so, because, I don't know, he's in the back and she's up front. They might try something funny, but, I wasn't trying to have old boy in the car anyway. And I figured, hey, doing this Uber thing this way, I might be able to start meeting girls. Just Ubering, and they already know what I look like and what kind of car I have. So that's half the icebreaker right there. And then they paid me to take them somewhere. Things were looking up, but somehow this was Charlie Brown football in the worst way possible. See, she thought she could transfer money into someone else's account and it would be available instantly. Perhaps if she deposited into someone else's account, that would work, but she had me drive her to 3 different ATMs to prove her point. While I didn't want to, I wasn't going to say no, knowing that she was paying for the trip, right? That clock is still running. So we are riding around going to different ATMs, and she keeps thinking she can use her card at different ATMs to deposit money. I explained to her that she can only put in cash into her friend's account, and that's the only way it'll be available instantly. You know what I mean? Some banks will have you wait until the start of the next business day. So after the third stop, we get stopped by the cops. And I was panicking. I'll never forget. I was wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirts and some black shorts. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm going to die in this shirt. I'm going to be a ghost and haunt people in this shirt. See, kids, I don't know if you know, but at this time, if you watch the news, it wasn't a good time to be looking like me and being stopped by the police. Yes, there's a difference in how you say that word. Black folks put that they put them S's on singular words. You know what I'm talking about. We about to go to Harris Teeters. It is police when you have a cat stuck in a tree or a flat tire. It is police when you get hemmed up in some bullshit. You got to be to work at 8:30 a.m. and it's 8:10 and you were flying down the road. Better watch out for the police. So this girl starts panicking with me as I'm pulling over, seeing those red and blue flashing lights. She starts emptying her purse. She has all kinds of needles and condoms. And I'm like, what the fuck? Don't be trying to empty that shit out in my car. You might as well get the hell out and don't leave none of them damn dirty needles with you. Anyway, the cop stops us and he's like, do you know why I stopped you? We both look at each other and say, no. He says, your lights were off. What a big sigh of relief that was. It was in this moment that we both calmed down and I just had to play it cool. You know what I'm saying? I was like, sure, we got past the rest of this test. I have to be honest. I didn't even realize he was a black police officer. See, police officer, right? Until she started getting flirty with him. Yes, he was the police as long as he let me go. This chick starts counting money in front of him, counting her ones and everything. I'm just like, what are you doing? She goes, let me tip my Uber driver. I'm on my way home. I'm looking at her like Keenan looking at Kel on Nickelodeon screaming, why? And for y'all who don't know that, fuck you. Go look up Keenan and Kel. Great show. Go get a good burger. So he left before I could get more upset for her trying to volunteer information. She asked me, can you loop around so I can get my medication? And I'm all like, ho, you better call the street pharmacist to come get you and come get your shit. Well, that's not what happened. I thought about saying it. What really happened is she offered me a blowjob for $20. But I couldn't get over the needles and shit, so $20 went into my gas tank and I went the hell home. I thought about Ubering again after that, and that same night, but I was like, nah, I'm done Ubering at night, period. Like, that is crazy enough for me. I couldn't even get a rating for the ride, and it wasn't worth my life, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good thing, too, because when I got up in the morning and went to my car, I found her crack pipe underneath the seat of my car. I would have been a -0 rating had another passenger seen that. Bitch, you got me fucked up. All right, so I like to eat, though. I wish I had saved some of that money from the ride to get something to eat. 2020 had me eating a lot more because I was mostly in the house. I figured I would be eating out less and that I'd be losing weight. However, I was at home and not working out. I wasn't walking around my job pretending I was doing work. I wasn't walking in the parking lot back and forth trying to sneak out either. I'm at that weird age now where I wonder how people get fat when you are grinding at your job or just focus on a few things. You don't have time to make your health a priority like you should. Your body starts to betray you. I used to put away 3 double quarter pounders and go play basketball. You know what I'm saying? That's how I used to do as a kid, me and my homies. And I wouldn't gain a single pound. Now, after just eating dinner, I feel defeated. Like I got to take a pre-nap for my nap. Anybody else feel like that? You? I know you do. I'm looking at you, sir. Don't try to act shy right now. You right there. And you listening. You know what I'm talking about. Hit the gym, son. All right, so, people say you're getting out of shape. Now you're changing shape is what it is. Your body's like a car with a check engine light. You got to get someone to look at it and find out exactly what is going on. You could get diagnosed with one thing, and that isn't what is going on with you. You know what I mean? Better know soon, or it could cost you later. My mom is a diabetic, and she would always to get me to watch what I eat and stay away from sweets. But this is the same woman who gives me sweet potato pies and red velvet cakes every holiday. So all that exercise I was getting just being mobile now is gone. Now that I find out that I have high blood pressure, hypertension, they call it the silent killer. You don't even have to look out of shape to have it, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm facing right now. Black folks have to learn from white folks and cut back on all the pork chops and grease. Might have to get a second job and get some kale and eucalyptus leaves or whatever they got at Whole Foods. I don't know. Why do you think there aren't any black vampires? I know we had Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy, but they got money. At least one of them still does. My point is, imagine a real black vampire. You're walking around at night and you can only see the whites of his eyes and fangs. Not only that, but they can run really fast and dunk a basketball. You don't stand a chance. Bitch, you got me fucked up. Imagine a young Nosferatu biting Nick Cannon. Now you got sickle cell vampires. That's why they don't come for us. You feel me? They don't come for us because they would be scared of us too. The blood is supposed to make them live longer. They figured that shit out quick. Nah, Leroy over there, he done had too much pig feet. He done had too many of them. I don't want none of that. They'd rather get a stake in their heart than to have blood from somebody with too many steaks. In all serious though, I am back in the gym. I don't always go on days that end with why. Why is it so hard? Anyone else have that problem? I will tell you what I think it is. You got gyms that are super expensive, so you pay because you feel like you got to get your money's worth. It's always about getting your money's worth. Why do that, though, when you can work out at home? This is what eventually happens. You want to cut out the middleman. Then you got the low-end gyms that are $10 a month. Shout out to Planet Fitness. I will return January 1st for that low cost. And, I'm making decent money, so I don't even notice the money is gone until they hit me with that maintenance fee. Yes, a maintenance fee to maintain equipment your lazy ass won't use but twice a year. I don't understand that. It's like buying a used DVD when the movie just came out. You really care about the condition of the DVD, but after it's been a long time, right? It's been a while since the movie's been out. You don't care if it's scratched up or how the cover looks, but when that joint first hit, it's got to be pristine. I don't want the used Mario movie that looks like it got pasta stains on it. No, but maybe 2 years from now, that's acceptable. Sure, you want it functional and to look as nice as it can, but that's what is important anymore, as long as you can maintain. So the correlation here is the more money you got, the healthier you can afford to be because you have more time to focus on those areas without eating poor quality food. You know what, y'all? Maybe I need a chef to make all of my meals. And then I don't have to work out as much, right? I don't know, but I gotta try. I doubt I'll eat 20 pounds of fish per week like The Rock, right? You ever seen them videos of The Rock showing his diet? It's crazy. He looks like a Marvel superhero in some of these photos. I don't know if he got a filter or something, but I figure I need to get some of this weight slapped off, kind of like how Will did Chris Rock. If that could happen, I might be on to something. You got to get your money right, though. You got to get your money right. See, everyone has their own path. You don't have to compare yourself to others, right? Thief is the comparison of joy, said some philosopher. Y'all can Google him. I ain't plagiarizing his shit or whatever. You just got to start somewhere. One thing for sure for me, though, is I don't want to be broke in my 40s. I gotta have my credit right to do this. See, no one taught me proper about credit. Yet you look around, almost everything is bought on some form of credit. Sure, cash is king, but guess what? The pawns protect the king. Let me say that again for some of y'all in the back. The pawns protect the king. So you better get you some credit cards to serve as your pawns, or your ass will be pawning shit in the pawn shop. You feel me? This is what they should have taught us in school. Had I known how to properly use credit cards, I would have had a new one every couple months. Now, that shit right there, I just get off seeing the approval message. Really, I'm just like these are confessions of a dopamine addict. Like, I'm just turned on seeing approved. That's almost like a dog when they get pets from you. Oh, come here, and you rub their head and give them a treat. That's what getting credit cards are like for me right now, this day and age. And the whole trajectory of my life would have been different. I was young though, and when you're young, can't nobody tell you nothing because you have to see it. You know what I mean? Like, everything has to be tangible when you're young, because otherwise, old folks are just telling you stories of yesteryear, fables and shit. Credit is not free money. You got to use it for what you know you're good for. See, I know y'all didn't come here to learn, but you gonna learn today. Your bills, shit you can't do without, don't use it to get Taylor Swift and Beyonce tickets. Trust me, that shit will come back and bite you in the ass like a sickle cell vampire. Yeah, see what I did there? I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So what if I miss a payment? I will pay that back next week. Turns out, next week turns to next month. And then that turns to next year. Next thing you know, you were getting phone calls, and they not only took your bank account away from you, or your credit card account, but now other banks know you were a piece of shit. It got so embarrassing for me that I would rather get an STD test than to tell anyone my credit score. But you got to confront your money problems, though, because no one else is really going to get you to learn. Sure, you can pay someone to fix it, but what are you really learning? Like, really, what are you getting from that? There is a game being played, and it is being used against us. Learn that shit sooner rather than later. So my white friends were in a mediocre apartment complex just like me, and my ass was comfortable. But after a year, they moved out. They left. Why? They had good credit. Their parents set them up for it as authorized users. Young folks, Google that shit. Piggyback off of someone you trust. That doesn't mean you get the credit card and use your parents' credit card or whatever. It just means you get their credit history. My ass was in college not understanding how money works. Overdrafting on $1 McChicken sandwiches because the drafts didn't pull until Monday and not over the weekend, right? The bank drafts didn't pull. Here's the thing, though. This was before online banking is what it is now. I thought I had $10 to eat with over the weekend, and now my account is negative $278 Monday morning. I'm trying to get gas to go to work, and I'm screaming, "Bitch, you got me fucked up." Thank you, and good evening, Charlotte. I love you.